The podcast you are listening to of Holmberg's Morning Sickness is brought to you by my friends at Eric's Family Barbecue in Avondale. Meet, mesquite, repeat. Trust me on this one. You've had barbecue before, but you haven't had it this good. Eric's Family Barbecue in Avondale, ericsfamilybbq.com.
Eric's Family Barbecue has arrived and is simply the best barbecue in Arizona. Come satisfy your taste buds with meats that are smoked over mesquite wood and sides that are made with fresh ingredients and tons of love. They have the best, juiciest brisket, pulled pork, rib sausage, turkey, or everyone's favorite, the Pitmaster Sampler that includes all the meat and 4 sides, mac and cheese, potato salad, coleslaw, corn, or beans, yum. And for dessert, try some creamy banana pudding, amazing. Eric's Family Barbecue in Avondale. Meat, mesquite, repeat. Make the trip, you won't be sorry. Dine in or take it to go. Go to ericsfamilybbq.com for more info.
Holmberg's Morning Sickness. Morning Sickness. 98 KUPD.
Good morning, everybody. Hello there. Welcome to the Morning Sickness. My name's John Holmberg. There's Brady Bogan. There's Brett Festley. Big Dick Toledo's around here. Off we go. And I'll tell you, hang on a second. I got trouble on this thing. I'll probably be here another 2 days. Max.
Uh-oh.
Maybe. Before I'm out. And a bunch of people on my emails, too. We're all going to be rich. We're all going to be retired by Wednesday or Thursday.
Just
it's easy.
emailed you there. Nailed it. Thanking you. Yeah. Called it.
Long live sports betting.
Yeah, long live sports betting. It made the day great, didn't it? This guy says, yo, John, just got to thank you. For the $200, I placed a first-time $5 bet on FanDuel that the Rams would beat the Bears solely on what you said Friday. Obviously, that worked for you. Yeah, you're welcome. It's signed Travis Alexander. Now, isn't that the guy Jody Arias killed? I'm not sure.
He's back.
That's his name. Poor bastard. You've had a tough few years. Glad to see you're all right. I didn't think you'd come back from that, to be honest. I saw the pictures. I met the cop that found you. Anyway, yeah, I did pretty well, too. I made that straight money line bet on the Steelers beating the Bills, even just for fun. That paid off and gave me an extra $200 for that FanDuel promotion. Phenomenal. Then I was screwing around. I was close to a I'm going to go ahead and do this every day moment. I had David Montgomery scoring a touchdown in each of the halves last night. And he got one at the end of the first half. I'm like, I got this. This is cake. Montgomery's running all over. But there's a coach for the Bears named Matt Nagy that doesn't understand how football works. And when you've got somebody doing something well, in his philosophy, the best thing you can do is to stop giving him the ball. So that was pretty much the end of my night. He ran like crazy. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Welcome to Chicago Bears football.
Nah, I'm not involved in it at all. That was fun. Man, it did add a little bit. And
Sure does.
And Cardinals, I had Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins scoring touchdowns. That scored me a big fat chunk of change that I ended up. I love those little side bets.
And that was the one where they had to cover the spread, too? The big boost bet? That was a good bet.
I don't think it was. Maybe it was. It was.
They made one of those.
Yeah, they had to cover. Well, they obviously
covered.
Thanks
to Francisco Lindor for hitting that home run last night, because that won me $100.
I can't bet baseball. That's degenerate stuff. That's because that's just too. That's just
you can
go pitch by pitch in that, and it just gets scary. But it was fun. I dabbled with it. I didn't go crazy. I ended up
good. I missed 7.
You missed 7. You did terrible. See, now that's the thing, Brady.
And 1, 2.
Nobody hears from you.
I know.
We only hear the emails from the people who win. Why are you? No.
Twice.
It's not saying you lie.
I know.
You just don't tell anybody. Yeah,
you went 2 for 9?
Yeah.
Well, you walk away from this kind of stuff after you've had a day like what you had and just go, hit a couple, lost a few.
But
no big deal.
Here's the great thing.
I'm down a little bit.
2 for 9, the one that hit, basically won everything back in a little bit.
See, that's exactly how you lie about gambling.
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
I don't have a problem.
I was down most of the day, and then I hit one, kind of brought me back to even, which means Brady's down a little bit. That's fine. It's good. I could have been up more, but the damn Bears thing. I had a huge one that said Matthew Stafford would throw 2 touchdowns in each half. Ooh. And it was a monster. And then he hit that first one in the first minute, and I'm like, easy street. And then I called my bank and a couple of people and told them to off. I was rich now. And then it didn't pay off because he didn't do it.
Hey, remember
Yeah,
me?
remember I was just kidding around.
Some guy hacked my phone.
Crazy. That was me, but I've been drinking. You guys know. Elbows. Throw some elbows at each other and we're good. Cool, right?
Was there a lot of phone watching during the game?
No,
you
actually.
had people at the house?
No, I didn't. I knew what I had and I didn't care. So, like, at the end, I'll check. Because the best thing about that FanDuel thing is at the end, you just go to your settled bets and see how you did.
So let me ask you this.
So I didn't monitor anything.
The people that you say are notorious for not contributing to the pizza,
Catero?
were they on their phones?
Oh, God, no.
doing the
Catero?
fan betting?
No. Jesus, it cost $5. No way. Catero's not going to $5 up on a bet. You crazy? Actually, yesterday was the first day back for Steelers football in the Steel Swede in over a year. Actually, it was, a year and a half.
Were there some tears?
No, we were fine. We're men. Anyway, that was gay. Anyway, it was catered by Eric's Family Barbecue.
Oh.
And oh my God. Yeah, I called him up last week and I'm like, what's it take? What's it going to cost to feed like 18, 20 people? And he gives me I'm like, we're doing this. This is done. So it all comes by. And the day before, people see the weather and they're like, oh, one stayed in Flagstaff, because they were up in Flag. Like, we were going to come back, but we're in Flagstaff. We're not coming back for that. And then my buddy Mark and his wife decided to go on a boat. We're going to go to the lake.
Dolly Steamboat?
Yeah, they went Dolly
Nice.
Steamboat.
See some rams.
Went out there and did some ram hunting. But yeah, so I was down to about 12 people, and I had food we knocked it out. There's still a bunch of macaroni. I was going to bring it today, but screw you guys. I'm going to eat that all week long. It was mind-blowingly tasty. The only way to go. So yeah, it was good. I mean, opening day of football. It was phenomenal. The whole thing. I'm sorry for Brady's Saturday because Ohio State is no longer a factor in football at all. So now all their games are irrelevant.
Not necessarily.
Brady, please. They're all irrelevant.
You remember we won 2017 with one loss to Virginia Tech, and we won the national championship.
Irrelevant.
You can get in with one loss.
Brady, even the national championship in college is irrelevant.
But the question is this team going to get in?
Nobody's asking that. It's all irrelevant. Just enjoy your week to week and your team that's now getting paid anyway. But yeah, I'm sorry for that. That was a tough one. I watched
brutal
the end
day.
of it. I know you had a miserable thing, but hopefully you didn't gamble on that. Did you bet on your Buckeyes?
I did not.
All right, smart. What I don't wonder what Oregon in
would have been
shoe would have been a nice payday.
Yeah,
Oh, man,
yeah. That gambling thing is. I was getting texts from people, dude.
How close?
No, I had a couple. I had one friend win $5,000 on two teams. He did some parlay thing. I had friends pulling $10,000 out, and they were betting pretty hefty. But they were betting like. My one buddy's a former professional gambler.
Oh, all done.
And,
Former?
Well, he's former because of the cocaine.
Oh, gotcha.
Oh, not because of the bets?
Well, the gambling didn't help. The gambling money turned into
Gambling
cocaine
fueled
money,
it. Yeah.
and then the cocaine money turned into gambling money. Then the Corvette had to go. But he had to come back. All this, I think, before he was like 25.
Man.
Yeah, he had a nice run, but he's still really good at it. And he had a couple yesterday. He was telling me the things he'd bet, and I was looking. I'm like, Jesus, I think you just. And another friend I haven't spoken to in forever. It's like, I hear you talking about the gambling. Oh my God, dude, I just won $9,000. I'm like, oh my God, this is insanity. So everybody's going to be a millionaire. I haven't heard from anybody who lost. Not one person.
Shocking.
So it's all winners.
Right.
Everybody's a winner.
You can go to Mo Money Pond this morning. I'll bet they're all lined up out there
It's
waiting
gonna
to
be-
get in.
A lot of people who are.
We're going to have to keep
Hey,
your
hey,
car.
I got the PlayStation.
Football's back on Thursday. Get me in there.
It's back tonight. You can play
Oh,
some
that's
more
right.
tonight. You
Forgot.
do the Ravens and Raiders.
Yep.
Nope.
I don't necessarily want to, but I will bet. I see. Now this is where I got to be careful because I wouldn't bet tonight's game because it would all be complete heart bets. That
Right.
Lamar Jackson is the under on
hate bets. You used the wrong term.
spike bets. I would be like, okay, just hopeful that Lamar Jackson, throws 2 interceptions or has less than 50 yards rushing.
Don't you want him to sign his extension first and then get wiped out?
They're going to sign him. I don't care if he gets wiped out. I want him to just fizzle away like Robert Griffin III. RG triple.
Wait a minute. Isn't he the backup there still?
He used to be. I don't think he is anymore.
Oh.
Either way, it's good. Football was phenomenal. And I don't know if you guys watched Saturday night. I bought it. The Donald Trump.
The one-rounder?
Well, there were several one-rounders. There was a couple one-rounders in the thing. Trump. And he was with Junior, I can't remember the fighter's name now, Junior something, a Brazilian guy, and then another fighter. And all Trump did, and it was the worst production I've ever heard. And it wasn't because of Trump. It was just the sound was off.
Yeah.
They had double, if you've been in broadcasting at all, when 2 mics are on and one is feeding off the other, and it makes this sort of weird phone sound. Donald Trump Jr.'s mic had that, and he knew it. And Donald Trump wouldn't wear headphones. So he couldn't really hear the other guys. So they'd start going, well, tonight's fight, glorious gladiator, warrior fighter. And the other guy would be like, that's right. And, the one thing about this guy is he's got a tough right hand. Glorious, you do a lot of his fights, a lot of them. Great fighter, warrior, really. And then they just sit there and stare at each other like, is anyone hosting this? So what I didn't know was they had a real broadcast team. It was supposed to be Jim Lampley, but he didn't do it. They filled in with it. The guy was good, too. I forgot his name. But 50 Cent and Sean Porter, the fighter. And so they had all these guys going. And then when the fight would start, they'd go to this booth, this King's that was the Hard Rock in Florida had like a suite almost. But it looked very Kim Jong-il-ish.
Yeah.
Because he's up there. It's well lit. He's sitting there by himself with his guests at a table. The logo's behind him. And every once in a while, the crowd would go, we want Trump. It was a heavy Trump crowd. We want Trump.
Thumbs up, thumbs down.
And he would do a lot of the thumbs up thing. And then during the moment of silence for 9/11, which I thought was completely classy, somebody who hates Trump started screaming, yo, loser, you killed everything. Great job, great. And then people, of course, in Florida can't just let that one person
They didn't
go.
live.
They start screaming back, shut the up, it's a tribute.
Damn it.
So, yeah, and then Spider, what's his name?
Silva,
yeah, he comes out and knocks out Tito Ortiz in one punch and knocked him cold. He had his mouth wide open, walked into a punch. Worst thing you can do in boxing is keep your mouth open. He just chinned him, and just slept the dude, had him snoring. That was in about 40 seconds. And Evander Holyfield came out, and evidently Evander thought it would be a good idea to have invisible roller skates on because the man can't even walk anymore. He looks amazing. He's 58 years old. He looks incredible. And he's out there, and he's ready to go. And the first punch he takes, you see him his feet aren't under him at all. And he just starts tap dancing. You're like, oh, he doesn't have his feet set. That was lucky. And then he takes another shot, and he just falls over. And then he takes an uppercut, and he falls over. Every punch that hit, it looked like he was on skates. And I'm like, well, this is just an old man taking some money, evidently. I don't know what's going on.
Everybody's saying that. I was reading a bunch of articles about it. About how
But he took the fight.
shouldn't have been sanctioned and all that.
Yeah, it never should have been sanctioned.
Yeah.
They never should have cleared this with the boxing commission. But the whole deal was at the end, and Megan turns to me and says, "Never again. Don't get these ever again." I'm like, "You're right. You're right." But I'm going to do it because at the end, Belfort screamed out that he wants to fight Jake Paul, and I thought,
called him out.
Triller put up $30 million.
Yeah.
For this
Already?
fight to happen.
Yep.
Yeah, they're $30 million winner take all, and I'm like, there's interest in that now. That's a thing. But it was just weird. The whole night was Mario Lopez he's always at these, Triller and DAZN stuff, but he's a big boxing guy. Just odd. You had Slater from Saved by the Bell, President Trump, and then he gets up and gives a speech. It turned into a rally for a few seconds. You're like,
Right.
what? And what is going on? And then I see Rudy Giuliani's 9/11 speech, and he was completely plastered. I don't know if you've seen that. The whole weekend was weird.
Is that his roller skating moves?
That's roller skating Evander. That was him standing up. That's how he just walked around the ring. He hasn't even been hit yet. Evander and they said, do you want to fight Tyson? He goes, yeah, I'll fight Mike. I'm like, no, you're not fighting anymore. You can't.
Take your burritos and sit down.
You're an old man who just doesn't need to walk around. You don't need to train for fighting because I'm sure that still looks good. But boxing, you shouldn't do it anymore. I lost a lot of money on that fight. Not really. I didn't bet on that. I would never bet on old man boxing.
What was the pay-per-view
He
price?
does look good, though.
$49. Oh, he looks
Okay.
58 years old.
Oh, my
But
God.
is it sad? Was it sad to watch?
Yeah, that's what I...
No, because he's 58.
It sounded sad.
It's
sounded
only
so
sad.
sad.
It's only sad if you're so stupid to think. And that was what Trump's commentary was. Not the same guy. Clearly not the same. He's 58 old. What did you expect? He's not going to go out there and wow you. You really saw him. Couldn't snap that jab. Just wasn't there. And I've been to a lot of Evander fights, and I've seen that guy fight, and that was not the same guy. When's the last Evander fight you were at? 26 years ago?
He's a good guy.
It's a quarter century ago that we're talking about that Evander was a relevant heavyweight. I mean, stop it. Not the same. Really tough to watch because I've seen that guy, and that wasn't not at all the same. Clint Eastwood is not going to look the same riding horses in this Cry Macho movie as he did 40 years ago.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
How many more signed up? I bet you a lot more,
For-
rather than a no-namer taking the place, rather than Evander.
What do you mean? Oh,
Like,
I don't
wasn't he
know.
a last-minute
Yeah, because he's supposed to fight Oscar De La Hoya. Belfort was supposed to fight.
And you
De La
know
Hoya.
there's a lot of people are like, really? I'll check it out.
Evander's 225 and just chiseled. I'll be so lucky to look that good. But the dangerous thing is I know for a fact that, look, I'm starting to get in better shape than I've been in thanks to this physical therapy thing. I look in the mirror sometimes and start thinking maybe I could accomplish a little more than I can because I'm proud of the work. And so you start saying, I look pretty, you know what, I think I might be able to. Then you see somebody like 20 years younger than you just pummeling something, and you're like, oh, good Christ, I don't have anything left compared to that. You can fool yourself. Evander's got to look in the mirror every day and go, I look good. I can do this. And then, he stood in there with a guy 44, which is 14 years younger than him. And it was drastically different to watch Grandpa get punched. They were worried about his health, like before. They're like, we'd never seen a 58-year-old man get punched for real. And we don't think we want to see
because all the sparring was.
Well, he didn't do much. He didn't. Yeah. He didn't have to. He's always in shape. So, it was. Was it sad? Only if you're a moron who had your brain around the idea that this was a comeback. Otherwise, it was a 58-year-old man. It's exactly what I expected, to be honest. Not sad. 58-year-old people doing things that violent. It doesn't look pretty. As pretty as, especially when you've seen him at. He's one of the top heavyweights of all time. Evander was, in the Tyson era, in my opinion, the best fighter in that time period. He would have held in there with Muhammad Ali and those guys, too. He would have mixed and matched in the 70s. Tyson's the overrated one. Evander's the one that we should be putting up on the pedestal. That dude was unbelievable. That wasn't going to happen Saturday. You know, he's a heck of a warrior. Also a warrior, Vitor Belfort. Very good fighters, warriors. It's right, Don Jr., whatever you just said, like a Charlie Brown teacher. Probably mentioned what warriors they were. Really want to thank everybody for chanting my name. We want Trump was a chant during the fights. Those poor people at the heart, they were so drunk. But it was 45 seconds for the Evander fight, another minute for the Spider fight.
It was a minute and a half.
Yeah.
82 seconds.
I spent $50 on it.
Yeah, but the Trump commentary
was
worth it.
It was totally worth it.
What was the over-under on him talking about Sleepy Joe Biden?
He did in the beginning, and evidently I missed that. I missed that. But he kept it pretty. He didn't say much. He didn't have time. Fights were a minute and a half each. But he kept it pretty. At the end, he's just like a rally. It's like a rally, you people here. And they turned his mic on for the crowd. They opened him up to the thing, and he went on for a couple minutes. It was like, okay. And I just turned to Meg, and I'm like, what is happening? What's
he
going
got
on?
paid.
Millions. He said so. Millions of dollars. They gave me millions. I love boxing. I would have done this for free, but they gave me millions. Of course, I'm not an idiot. So I took it. You know, I've done a lot of good things. And now, another good thing. I think I'm going to take it up forever. And it's not unusual to have political figures call fights. Ron Reagan called fights before I think he was a governor. Burt Lancaster used to do it. Red Fox called a heavyweight championship fight once. Oh, it was a great. You got to listen to that. That was fun.
Steve Jones, the golfer, came over on Saturday to watch the game, and he told a Trump story. He played with him in Florida, and I'd never heard this one before. And his guys in the entourage, this is before no political stuff. He they're at one of his resorts in Florida, and the one guy says to him, "Listen, whatever Trump tells you, split it in half." Steve, look at this fountain over here. Spent $17 million on it. And Steve's going, $17 million, 8.5. And then, and so the whole day, and he enjoyed the golf, and he says he's leaving. They go and have lunch.
Steve, I shot a 33.
And Trump tells a story at lunch and says, one time he goes, I had these, they're seasonal crabs, and it's a buffet at the club at Mir-a-Lago. He invites him back. But this is at the club before that. And he says, we have this crab thing, and this lady comes over with this plate of crab. She must have, at the time, $250 worth of crab on her plate. And Trump is telling the story, says, well, I said to the lady, Mrs. Johnson, you know how much crab claws you have on your plate? About 200. You know what? You're out of here. Here's your check. We're going to give you, you're no longer a member at the club.
Why?
She's hoarding the crabs.
Because she stole too many of them off the free buffet. Oh, gee, I thought it was because
we
she was
don't like
Mexican.
members like you. And this was, this is years ago. And then afterwards, she's like, geez,
That's funny because I golfed with Steve Jones once, and he told me about his seasonal crabs down in Brazil once, which is one of the funniest stories I've ever heard.
So
I wasn't even doing anything. I woke up with a lump on my dick. I thought it was from the bed sheets.
Nope, it's the crab meat.
Did you do? Yeah.
So he got invited back to Mar-a-Lago. He was leaving. He was like, hey, what are you doing tonight? He's like, going back to my hotel room because why don't you come over to my place?
Oh, right.
I want you to come. So he gets there. And he has his, name tag, but he's like, no one's there. He's looking around, and it's kind of who's who. He mentioned a couple of people there, and then he meets some of the wait staff because there's no one there. He's like,
it's just him and the waiters.
I'm gone. I'm out. And as he's walking up, here comes Trump's entourage. And they go, Steve, what are you doing? Why don't you come sit at the table with me? So he sits down at the table, and he says this really pleasant lady is talking to him next to him, and they were talking about a subject, and her husband leans over and goes, it's out of control. It's Regis.
He's talking to Rage. It's a dream table.
And Joyce?
Joy,
that's right.
Joy. Rage and Joy.
Anyway, she's here. She got kicked out of the club for too many crab legs. Can you believe it? Trump kicked us out. Anyway, we're staying for dinner.
She got him in her pocket.
We could only stay for one more day. We agreed to stay through the checkout. Unbelievable. Anyway, Joy, back off the buffet. She's putting on weight.
Well, that's great. Yeah, Steve
Go
Jones.
Notre Dame.
Steve Jones, for those of you who don't know, was a champion of the Phoenix Open. Did he win the British, too?
He won the U.S. Open.
U.S. Open. And, Bert, you caddied for him at the British, yes?
No, I was in the
That's
entourage.
Right. And, that's right. You were there.
Yeah.
He had a different caddy. And Steve Jones is if Steve Martin was a professional golfer, he's the dopiest. It's Steve Martin from The Jerk. If it was Navin Johnson, he's hilarious. And just out of nowhere, I was in Brazil once. What happened? I woke up with a lump on my dick. Steve, what are we talking about? This is out of the blue, big conversation starter. I hadn't done anything. I had to go to a Brazilian doctor, find out what a lump on my dick.
He loves talking about ailments.
Yeah. Oh, he does. Yeah. And I didn't follow up on that. Did I ever tell you about seasonal crabs? It's your shot, Steve. No, stop talking. Yeah, great story. I haven't talked to Steve in forever. Well, there you go. Did he win any money this weekend?
He had to withdraw.
FanDuel. I don't care about his
FanDuel?
sport.
He did.
Did he? All right. See, of course he did. We're all going to be millionaires. I didn't hear from one. Did you guys win? I didn't hear from you. You must not have played.
Yeah.
Oh, you're a big winner, too? Champion? Yeah.
I'm checking my phone right now.
Oh, that didn't sound good. That doesn't sound good.
Didn't hear from me either.
None of your business. Shut up. Yeah, all the people that emailed me were winning. I didn't hear one that goes, dude, lost my ass. Good for you. That means none of us lost our ass. But that $5 money line bet for $200 no matter what.
Oh, that's great.
I got 3 of those. That was great. You picked the Rams. That was going to happen.
Oh, that's a gold, yeah.
I picked the Steelers just because my heart got involved. Why not? $5. Bet. Big deal.
I'm setting aside a day this week.
And I
putting my parlays together. And
don't parlay, Brady. You're not ready for parlays. Parlays will eat your money.
It just sounds so cool.
It does sound cool to parlay. Don't do it until you understand better what parlays are. I saw your face on Thursday and Friday trying to work this app. You're not ready for the parlay. I'm not parlaying. Too much going on there. Although I did a 3-team long shot parlay that was like a $25,000 win. Jets, Lions, Steelers all had to win. And for a second there, the Lions came back. The Jets were sort of coming back, and the Steelers won. I'm like, This is like a massive win. $100. Big whoop. Yeah, I had some good ones, though. So I'm happy. So everybody gamble. Everybody gamble your lives away. Tonight, do some more of it. And then I was dumb enough before bed to hit live. There was a soccer match going on somewhere in the world.
Oh, no.
I'm doing it.
And I know enough about Tottenham. I didn't know I didn't even recognize the language. It's 6:08. Let's get I don't know what I wasn't even it was just on, that wasn't on FanDuel. That was on the internet. Like, I wonder if I could bet on that. They could bet on WNBA games. I giggled forever thinking that there's some hardcore. That's when you know you're a degenerate. When you go Lynx Sun.
Show us your FanDuel with your WNBA bets.
I won $25,000 on the Lynx and Sun game. I don't know who the poor bastard is that has to handicap that match. Somebody has to sit in Vegas and go, oh, I got to know all about the WNBA to handicap it. Poor bastard. Terrible. That's the beginning level. That's where you first started. In the handicapping. That's the first level of, like, I'm not going to be very...
That's how Jimmy the Greek started?
It's your foot in the door. Yeah. It's Danny Sheridan's like, okay, you're going to spend about a year or two handicapping MLS soccer and WNBA basketball. It's like, oh, man, this is just proof of if you're willing to be a handicapper, you'll go through the ranks here. Nobody ever bets it. Don't worry. No one ever bets it, so you can be really wrong all the time. We just have to see if you're any good at picking up spots. The links, there was an over-under. I don't even know, of like 111. Like, I don't even know what to think. I don't know. Do girls score 50 points again? I don't even know how it works. Terrible product.
Ryder Cup coming up.
Gambling some golf, Brady. Anthony, who runs Eric's Barbecue, was at the house yesterday, and he goes, dude, I'm in trouble. I'm like, why? He goes, I picked 6 drivers in the NASCAR race on the FanDuel. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, do you like NASCAR? He goes, never watched it in my life.
Oh, jeez. Went off of names.
He just went, I like this.
I've heard of him.
You gotta.
He just bet 6
guys.
You
could maybe placing.
Really?
You can bet. Well, I'm sure you probably can.
Yeah. It's like
you
boxing
can bet
a horse race bet?
You can bet every racer if you want to win.
Man.
Which isn't a bad idea. So what are you going to do? It's 6:10. Let's get a wake-up song. Start this Monday off right. We De Niro Double Down.
Yep.
That starts today.
8 a.m.
So 8 a.m. So we don't have a 7 o'clock thing now.
And we get to pick our own words.
I know. And 8 a.m. we can start this contest where we're going to give you $1,000.
It's for the full hour.
20 days, $20,000. We're going to do it. Not all in one, not every day.
Right.
1,000. We're divvying it out.
Slow your FanDuel
That sounded a lot better.
Everybody's thinking about that.
You know what? Great contest, though. Give $20,000 away every single day.
No crab, though.
Pretty amazing. No, don't take the crab meat. Can't afford crab meat.
Give it to us good and strong. We'll scream it together. It's 98 KUPD. Wake up!
Arizona's most powerful rock radio station. 98 KUPD.
You've been listening to Holmberg's Morning Sickness Podcast, brought to you by our friends at Eric's Family Barbecue in Avondale. Meet, mesquite, repeat. Eric'sFamilyBBQ.com.